Mother flowers, and welcome to a video filled with nostalgia and despair. But mostly, despair.
But the truest victory, my son, is stirring the...
If you don't know by now, the pre-patch for Wrath of the Lich King Classic launched on August 30th. Everyone has reviewed the changes, compared it to the original launch, began fresh leveling characters, and sucked the soul out of every last content idea available. However, my opinion is more important, and I want to share it. So sit down, listen to me, and tell me I'm wrong in the comment section down below to feel superior about yourself. And who knows, maybe some N64 hairline looking ass will degrade me in the comment section down below and feed my BDSM complex that I totally don't have. I promise. With the release of Death Knights, originally, I lost my mind with the idea of them not only being a hero class, but also being able to fulfill my nerdy desire to experience Warcraft 3 in a new and more personal environment. I've always played Paladins, and now, seeing the Edgelord cloaked in all of its Dark Lord glory, my transformation from good boy to not good boy, then turned good boy again, but kind of not really good boy. Thank Legion for implying Death Knights were gonna be epic again. Hashtag make Death Knights great again. Much like that of goody old Two Shoes Arthas transition into a Death Knight. I was about to follow in his footsteps. Which brings us to today's video. I wanted to dive into this thing, knowing what I know now about gaming, both in design and development, and just compare it to where the industry is today in general, to see if it really was the timeless classic that I remember it being. So, I made a Death Knight and played through their unique starting zone for the first time in 14 years? That's what it says! It says 14 years! I'm getting old and I'm dying. Shit. Upon loading in, you're treated with a cinematic about how you were a great hero of your faction, and then stand face to face with the Big Daddy himself, Arthas. I can't help but realizing his bulging muscles and sheer badassery. Just like any starting zone, you're tasked with some quick fetch quests to familiarize yourself with the basics of your character. But this time, you get to forge your own weapon and imbue it with the shinies. Ultimately, you are tasked with absolutely wrecking the village below. Oh, I'm doing it now, boys. You get to kill the foul stench of life with your unadulterated glory. Gather arrows with your unadulterated glory. And steal horses? Man, what the hell is happening? I'm supposed to be a badass weapon of the Lich King. Why am I doing petty tasks? Shit. We also harness a giant eyeball, which is kind of cool. Finally. We get to torture people and steal their information so that we can play rogue by cross-dressing as a human and delivering a fake letter. Damn it! Why am I not doing badass Death Knight things? During all of this, we are tasked with slaying a special guest within the nearby inn. Little do we know, this is the beginning of our I'm a good boy phase. I don't think we're ever going to be able to do the cool Death Knight stuff, are we? Just then, a glimpse of light. Go to Light's Hope Chapel. You get it? Because light and lights, and it's a play on words. And when we get to Light's Hope Chapel, we get to wreck some fools. Oh, we begin our Death Knight journey. So we head to Light Hope Chapel and absolutely wreck some shit. All the humans are getting blasted with ice and shadow, and totally not ripped off version of Scorpion's get over here trick. Man, I'm living the fantasy now. Hell yeah, brothers! We are gods! Just then, some old dude with a bubble steals my man Morgren's sword and tells the Lich King he's a bad boy, which causes Arthas and his admittedly slightly less bulgier muscles to ducktail and run. Then the old guy gives us a talk, just like my parents when I started to notice women in all of their glory. And next, we go to our faction's capital and swear allegiance and promise to be good boys for the rest of existence. In all of this, I couldn't help but feel a special connection to the game. I truly felt like I was younger and harkened back to simpler times. As I read the quest dialogue, yes, I can read, you son of a... However, I digress. You see that? Fancy words to establish my cranial dominance. Worship me. Reading the quest really made me immerse myself in the environment and start to see the perspective of what we were doing here. And I couldn't help but imagine myself being in this exact place in this moment, hearing the clashing of armor, the screams of all of our helpless victims, and the smells. Oh God, the smells. Please send me home. Maybe I'm too busy sucking copium from the canister behind me, but really, this feels like how MMOs are supposed to be. Getting to live your fantasies in a virtual world. Not so that you can escape reality, but so you can stop focusing on it with your friends and other like-minded individuals. Overall, I have to give this a 7 out of 10 experience. It really felt good to be back in the saddle of a classic MMO and to experience a good story. Mostly. The graphics were good, the gameplay was good, which really shouldn't be a surprise at this point in time. I feel like Blizzard has really gotten the graphics and the gameplay down to a T, baby. And the complexity of the rotations didn't make me lose immersion. However, it isn't a new experience. So I think it's time to stop suckling off the tit of copium and get real for you. I can't blame you for farming those fat checks from old content. After all, we still buy it. And yes, it feels amazing to relive some of the golden oldies, but partner it with new content. And I'm not simply saying a reskinned expansion. Make a new mechanic. Create fantastic environments that allow us to lose ourselves a little. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy and entirely new. A great example of this that comes to my mind are MOBAs. Each character has some kind of dash or a skill shot. How these look might be a little different, like a shorter dash or a longer skill shot, with all of their trade-offs, of course. But the core remains the same, and yet those characters feel entirely different. These skills are thematic and custom to their character's theme. I understand that gamers are fickle creatures, and quite frankly, the grass is always greener on the other side, and we're a bunch of whiny little bitches, if we're being honest. But we are the gamers, after all. I can also understand having a project you love, but if you can't combine that with feedback from your users, you might lose that project entirely, meaning everything you've invested in goes away, and the gamers can't even experience what you've built, which to me sounds like a horrible conclusion. All the negative Nancy crap out of the way, I'm excited for the new character class in the upcoming Dragonflight expansion, the Evoker. It is totally unique. It is something very new to the Warcraft universe, and some of their abilities are things we've never seen before. And so I'm excited to jump in and really experience this with the others in this community. And the new areas look incredible, which, once again, we're not really surprised at this point. I think new environments is something Blizzard does super well. These changes are the ones that I and many other gamers want to see in the industry. And you know what? I think Blizzard did it while reaching the market of some classic fanboys sucking on copium from their buttholes like a little turtle chilling in the bottom of the ocean. Damn pandas! Ugh! You can't please everyone, and quite frankly, that's an unrealistic goal. But in my opinion, listening to the consumers of your content is a mandatory first step. And I feel like for the first time in a long time, Blizzard is really starting to do just this. And I'm so excited and so hopeful because the Warcraft franchise in general has been one that's been very near and dear to my heart for a long time. I've created relationships, I've cultivated relationships, and I've had some amazing experience that you can't really have by being real humans in the real world, because the real world sucks ass, and I don't want to be there. Shit. But don't let me down, or I might have to sick the big bad daddy of World of Warcraft after you.
I thought you cannot think. You never think. You never think.